how does one control fear and greed in trading? And for me, when I figured out that this was more of a common sense way of thinking, my whole trading game changed. Now, we're not going to do much charting today, but you see on our screen we have NASDAQ, we have the 1 hour time frame up. And I'm going to give you some insights and examples on where moments of fear and greed will come in my trading and what we can do to alleviate that fear and greed, because we already know when we have fear, we miss trades, we have FOMO. When we have greed, what happens then? So let's get more into it. I'm Socrates, if you don't know already. I have multiple videos up. We are known on Instagram, we are known on YouTube, and we're just trying to grow a little more and give our insights out and stop all the fuckery, stop all the FEG traders. Now again, we're here to talk about greed and to talk about fear. When we enter trades, right, what is the main reason why? One, I want to make money. And the biggest issue anyone makes as strictly as a beginner trader is when we make our $100 profits, right? We're going to walk over this. We don't care about $100 anymore because I looked on Instagram or I looked on YouTube and some professional traders telling me I can make $10,000 a day. So same case scenario, but this time I'm in a trade and that trade is up $300. The beginner trader, what is he going to do? I don't want it. It's not good enough. I'm a trader. I should be making at least 1,000, right? So same case scenario, right? The beginner trader comes in. He makes $400 in 30 minutes. What does he do? It's not good enough. That's an example of greed. When we come into the day, especially as a beginner, if you want to control, this is what I did. Where do you come from in life? Do you come from a place where you're a 9 to 5 worker and you're exchanging your time for money? Calculate the amount of time it took you to make $100 working a 9 to 5. And then calculate the time it took you to make $100 trading. And if you made $100 with under an hours of your time, you're winning. You are literally winning, because when I had to work a 9 to 5 job, I was working all damn day. I was working from 6 to 9, sometimes even earlier, sometimes even later. And I was only getting $150 for the entire day. So when I come into trading as a complete beginner with no knowledge, no nothing, hopes and dreams, all I ever did was see $100, $200, $300. I would walk right over it. Why? Because all I wanted was the big money. All I wanted was big profits. I didn't care about making $100. I didn't care about making $200. I didn't care about all that. But when I started to realize at the end of my day, where, I was up $300 and I could have left the day, and then the next day, I was up $500. Why did I give it all back? We all know what we're doing wrong. We fall down the repetition and the habits we create within the good and in the bad. And with us being greedy, the only reason we lose in trading in beginners is everyone makes this mistake, is because we want more money. We want more money. There's no other explanation other than that, other than we wanting more. You're not happy with that $100, $200. And that's another issue in itself, is a beginner trader, as we just talked about, how much did you used to make working at a 9 to 5? You're a beginner trader, you should be happy. Making $100 to $200 within 30 minutes to an hour of your time, you're successful. It's just your brainwash, your mind has been brainwashed to what trading actually really is. And once you really can cater your mindset to thinking like this, like, okay, today's Monday, all I want to do is scalp a trade. I want to make $200-300 in 1 or 2 trades and I'm out. Most traders hit that level. And when they realize, oh shit, it's only 10:30, I'm really bored still. I want to continue to trade and make more money. And what happens next? The next trade you take is a losing trade. Now, are you a bad trader? Is your system bad? That's all subjective and irrelevant to what we're talking about right now. Because in my system, You don't need any knowledge. All you need to do is be able to control your greed and control your mental in all standpoints, no matter what is going on. Now, again, greed is going to come at you in many different shape forms. It's not just letting trades run and hoping for profits. It's let's just say we're in a drawdown, right? And okay, we entered a long position right here, right? Let's just say hypothetically we entered a long position here. This area, I mean, it's not really a bad area to enter a long position because it's been magnetic before, showing in previous price action. So we're holding now. We're in a drawdown. We're in a drawdown. We're in a drawdown. This is another level of greed that people might not want to agree with me with, but why are you continuing to hold? Let's say if we had our stop, especially if you had stop losses, and especially if you had a certain number in your mind. Now, this is another place where people go wrong: is we over leverage, and it's going to make you think that the process of trading is way faster than what it is. If you're a beginner trader and you're using more than two lots, two contracts, you're gonna find out real fast and soon that how what a reset is in like eval. You're gonna find out what stress really is, because and we know this going into it. It's well, okay, maybe if I took one or two lots, I can control my loss a lot easier than if I'm using 3, 4, 10 lots, hoping to make $10,000 within one day. That's toxic way of thinking. And to kind of combat this, you need to become aware of what you're doing in the moment, which is, again, easier said than done. But the only thing that's going to help you combat this is time in the market. I mean, there's no secret method, there's no magic sauce. The magic sauce is you being able to sit and listen to yourself and control your impulses. You just made $200. If you used to work all day for 150, you should close your screens. Once you have some sort of consistency, and even more than consistency, once you can say to yourself, okay, I can take a trade and I can afford to lose this $1,000 and not have my bills be affected, then that's when you can afford to start taking more risk, more extravagant risk. Maybe instead of using 1 to 2 lots, I'm going to use 3. And I'm going to, lower, or I'll add a little bit more risk. I'll lower my stops a little bit to give myself a little bit more wiggle room. And it's rinse and repeat. Once we have this way of thinking, and I'm no longer just sitting in this fucking market trying to make $5,000, $10,000 a day, because when I make my money, I made my 200, I scroll on Instagram or I scroll on YouTube, and I'm now comparing myself to somebody else who's a winning trader who's been doing this for years, and I'm no longer upset about the $300 profit that I just made within a few minutes of my time. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you're making 100 within 10 minutes of your time, you're winning. If you're making 300 within an hours of your time, you are winning. You need to change the way you think to escalate and elevate in the trading game, because the trading world and the higher ups and the market makers, they know that you have a gambler's mindset. They know you're going to think like a gambler. And they use this kind of emotional backwardsness to get you, to make you their liquidity. And these are some tips and tricks, I mean, for greed at least. Now, for fear. When we start feeling fear, it's kind of the same thing as feeling greed, right? It's a really deep emotion. What can we really do to help us combat fear? Having a plan. If we have a plan, why should we be scared? Even within our losing trades. Now, here is the hour time frame, right? If we were to take an entry at any one of these blue lines, we're guaranteed to make money at one point, right? So when we have fear, when we feel our fear coming, why are we even having fear? One, because you don't want to be wrong. You don't want to lose money, right? I don't want to lose money. I don't really like to be wrong. But this is why fear will uprise. There's no other reason why fear is going to come up. I have my strategy, right? I know that my strategy is not 100%. It's by far from 100%. What's 100% is my mindset and the way it thinks and the way it reacts with whatever is going on. So in my wins, I control it. I don't get greedy. I have my targets. And the funny thing is I usually sell my things a little earlier than my targets. Which is it right or is it wrong? I don't know. Profit secured is profit secured. And you can never go broke taking profits. And when we, fear, it's going to come in and it's going to hold us back. It's going to hold us back. We're going to miss entries. We're going to miss exits. We're going to do things we wouldn't normally do because that emotional side is coming in to fuck with us. You need to have a plan and follow that plan. And that's what trading is. People have all these emotions and ideas, right? Where let's just say a beginner trader will try supply and demand. Their first 2-3 trades were great, right? But then the whole rest of the week, they kept losing trades, trading supply and demand. Was it supply and demand itself, or were they being greedy and having anticipation? These are some things you have to keep in mind. And if you're coming onto a day where you have extreme fear, you can close the screens, right? You can literally close the screens, because if you don't, then you're just being greedy and you have to trade. Why do we have to trade? You don't have to trade every day, Trade to your lifestyle. But anywho, back to the story on point. When you have a plan and you can follow yourself. Know what that means? A plan was I have a target in mind where I want that price to go to, and I have a stop loss where if the price goes in my favor, I have a target. If price goes against me, I have a target. So why should I have fear? I'm gonna see my system. I have absolutely nothing to think about, because if I start thinking now, more fear will come in, because all right, what price has to come here? Then it's got to go there. This has to show up, and that's got to show up. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have to show up. Your mind is telling you these things because the mind is going to search for reasons on what you're thinking to be true. And that's crazy. That's deep. So you need to have a plan, and you need to be so at one with you. You need to be able to respect yourself, to follow exactly what you say before you do it. And this is why people lose, is because they have a plan. And then let's just say as soon as they enter the trade, oh man, I'm down $200 automatically. What are you going to do next? Your emotions will come into play, and the plan you just had told yourself where, oh man, my drawdown was only $200-300. Now you're going to hold and hope. Where when you just told yourself, when you see that number, that's your stop loss, you're going to sell. You didn't sell. You now moved your stops to hold and hope. Do you see what happened there? You didn't listen to yourself, and now you're questioning why you actually lost. When you could have only lost that 200 or 300 at that, when you saw that number, you didn't close it, you held and hoped. I say those are moments where you deserve to lose, and where the market was trying to show you what it really is. And with fear and greed, it's as easy and as hard as you being able to listen to yourself. Trading is a very linear, very lonely path. There is no wrong and there is no right. There is what you think of and whatever is the outcome of your thinking. The market is amazing. There's hundreds of strategies, hundreds of different ways people approach it, and neither of them are right and neither of them are wrong. Did you make profits or not? Stop trying to focus on things you can't control and control yourself. Control your greed and control your level of fear. You do this by having a plan. When you have a plan that you can follow, one, emotionally, right? I can follow this plan emotionally. When I see I can close my trades, I can walk away. And I can follow it fundamentally, where we have our blue lines. I'm going to take entries here. I'm going to wait for supply and demand. When you have a clearer vision in your head and a clear path of what you want your day to be, what you want your life to look like as a trader, you can start making some initiative. You can start making some changes, and you can start adapting to the trader that you are meant to be and supposed to be. A fearful trader and a trader filled with greed, the market makers love this, right? Because they use you as liquidity. Beginner traders, the market is here to take our money. The market's not here to give you any sort of money. And I'm sorry that you might have been lied to from other, content creators, this, that, and the other. You're not going to be making $10,000 a day. You're not going to be making $20,000 trades. One day you will, but within your first 5 chapters of trading, and what I mean by that is your first, year to 2 years, expect to be tortured. Expect it to be a battle, but you can only perceive it that way if your mind allows you. You can look at it like lessons. You can look at it as something greater. For the greater good, I have to go through this for me. And that's what I did. I learned that I am not the most educated person in the room. The market humbled the shit out of me. And the only thing that I can control is one, my greed, right? The amount of lots that I use, the mindset that I go into, the profit that I want to target, and my plan, my risk management, and my fear. These are the things that I have control over. I don't have control over where price is going to go. I have no idea where price is going to go. All I all I know is history. What history has to show me and how I can react to history, you know? I think in probabilities, and when I think in probabilities, this also alleviates some fear in my trading journey because I'm not focused on possibilities. I'm focused on probabilities. And, people are like, what the fuck is the difference? The difference is because I have a plan. And I have plans for my probabilities and my way of thinking, where if price starts to accumulate and break these levels and go upward to an uptrend, my brain and my analysis will change and cater to the trends and to the flow of the money. But yeah, if you want to learn more about what I do, I trade live daily in my community from market open to a little around 12, 1, sometimes earlier, sometimes later, depending how the day is going. But yeah, learn to control your greed, learn to control your fear, and this is when you start growing as a trader. Peace out. Thanks for listening out.